Welcome back to the BroadStrokes podcast, guys.
I'm pissed. I'm very upset. Landon just asked me to pretend like it never happened. But you know what? If you read the description of the episode 9.5, not 95, you know exactly what I'm referring to. I'm not very pleased with my co-host and his little hobbit friend.
Look, if he didn't just make a noise every 3 seconds, it would have been a lot better, right? Do you agree with that consensus?
What, the whole 5 people who saw it?
I'm talking about my friend over here.
Oh, me?
Yes. I'm not talking to the audience.
I thought you were like the ghost in the corner. Little schizo. But yeah, I'm back, folks. Unfortunately, last week we didn't have much time to do anything. Exams are happening for Mr. Landon here. Work's been picking up for me. Not very much time, but I swear to you, we're going to get back to it. We got a few plans now, so we're doing good. I think it's so bad that Afia didn't even comment, which is tragic.
Still, I'm just saying. No. I meant also, do you think it would have been a lot better if you didn't make a sound every 3 seconds?
It would have been. Also, I just want to say, I don't know how old Afia is. I'm not going to make this joke. Never mind. I was going to say on the one episode that I wasn't there, she didn't comment.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I'm cool.
What, no, I'm based.
Finland, right? Apparently, she's the one from Finland.
Oh, regarding the question I asked last episode.
Wait, the actual last episode or the 0.5?
0.5. We're still counting that as an actual episode.
I don't.
It's not a... I don't care what you say. Okay, so the question is, how many of you guys actually do watch just one or the other? And how many of you guys actually watch both?
What do you mean, on Spotify and YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch Spotify, go on YouTube, and comment something?
If so, that's really cool of you.
Or do you just watch one or the other? Because I know that Braden, he goes on Spotify only. He even comments on the Spotify posts.
I don't even know how to read those.
Yeah,
I don't know where
you go on the website and check it. I haven't actually checked in a while, so I don't know what our analytics on that is.
Yeah, but in good news, seeing as this is our 10th episode, and this is why I didn't label the last one 10th, we have a special topic for this one. A very, very, very special topic. My boot camp experience, and why I'm not a Marine. It's a bit heartfelt, and it hurts to talk about, but we're going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. What was that noise? It's like a goddamn goldfish.
That was meant to be like a cartoon gulp, when I was putting down.
But before we get to that story, do you have anything you want to talk about beforehand?
Yeah, how was your day?
It was good, Landon. It was alright. I haven't got a chance to do my run yet because it's been busy. Everybody showed up all at once, and now you're here.
Ate any good food?
Yeah, I started my day off with Jimmy Dean's and some peanut butter crackers. Then I ate lunch, which was some chips and peanut butter crackers.
Is that really your lunch? Or
yep.
It sounds more like a snack.
I guess it was a snack, because I've been eating light today, because today's my run day. So I gotta run later.
Oh.
And I hate running on a full stomach, because it hurts so bad. Anything else? Anything else you got before we get started on this thing?
Not really.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, when I was in high school, it was late freshman year or early sophomore year, right? I had just finished watching The Punisher.
Was that your inspiration?
It was part of it, actually. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to go kick ass and chew bubblegum or something. So I got in touch with his recruiter, and his name was... I'm not going to say his name, actually. But he was the original recruiter. We'll call him Sergeant G. Okay, because that was the letter of his first name. Sergeant G, he was a skinny guy, but he was very, very strong, as, most Marines are. And he got in touch with me, so we started going to this thing called a Poolee program.
Yeah, he did this every Wednesday, if I remember correctly.
I think it was every Wednesday, then it got swapped to every Tuesday and Thursday. And we'd go out there and we'd work out for 3 hours, sometimes. And it was running. It wasn't to build muscle, it was to break you as a person and then make you stronger, because that's what it was. You were going to push yourself to failure. And I kind of enjoyed these workouts, honestly. Even being an awkward high schooler, it was kind of good for me.
I wouldn't call you an awkward person.
In that environment, I felt kind of awkward.
Oh, is it just different? You don't have the confidence
in
comparison.
I have, multiple personalities, I guess, which makes me sound psychotic. But I was going in the Marine Corps. But I have my friend group personality, which is, funny, kind of lighthearted, and with occasional bouts of violence, but that's normal. And then I have my meet new people thing, and that depends if I'm with people, that might be funny or whatever, all that nonsense. But here, I was just really quiet. I was there, I was doing my exercise, but I was quiet. I wanted to listen, I wanted to learn things. And I did learn things. And out of the actual Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, whatever it was, I was studying a lot. You remember the Rifleman's Creed and all that?
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that was a thing. Did you have to recite that?
No. As I learned out, or I figured out, we didn't even need to learn that because I got rid of the Rifleman's Creed.
Really?
Yep. Which I'm kind of upset about. I kind of started to forget it actually, so I'm kind of thankful. I still remember all the ranks enlisted officer though. Private, private first class, lance corporal, corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, gunnery sergeant, master sergeant, first sergeant, master gunnery sergeant, sergeant major of the Marine Corps.
Okay.
That's enlisted. And a few years pass, maybe junior year, right? And then I become squad leader, Kyle. And the whole reason I got this...
Was it junior year? I feel like it was definitely senior year.
It was senior year?
You didn't really start doing it till, late junior year, and then early senior year, I would say you started becoming the leader. Because I remember the one group spot that we always went to during that senior year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. And at this time, also, Sergeant G had been swapped out for Sergeant T, as in Tango. Sergeant T, he was more personable, honestly. He was a cooler guy to talk to. And he really got me hyped up for everything. But, recruiters, and no disrespect to the military at all, but they are salesmen. They're going to get you to sign up. They will tell you whatever you want to hear to get you to join. Which I'm not mad about. I knew what I was getting myself into. But I was ready for it, and I was going. And we would continue to go to these workouts, and then I got promoted to squad leader because our previous squad leader had left to boot camp. And basically, squad leader in the pulley program, you don't have much respect to your name at all. But in front of actual Marines, the pulleys have to call you squad leader last name. I'm not going to tell you folks. So I already muted it from the last episode because Landon said my name.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I got to organize these workouts, and I got to scream at people. It was so fun. Landon heard my voice when I got back home. I don't know what's going on with her back. It just keeps sliding. But yeah, I would get to yell at pulleys who didn't run fast enough. For a brief time, there was two squad leaders. There was me and this other guy. And we were both the best runners in the pulley program. This is when I was super good into running. And I was running 5 miles every other day. I know, David Goggins over here. And this dude stopped running. And our one rule Sergeant T had was that if you were on a run, you were not to stop running. Even if it is super slow, you're going to run. So we got behind this dude. I already finished my IST, which stands for Initial Strength Test. And me and the other squad leader, we got behind this dude. We started barking at him like we were dogs. And he started running again. For the fear of God in that kid. It was funny.
What if he just fell?
What, had a heart attack?
Yeah.
That's his problem. I was following orders.
Sorry. This is a little... What does that say? SpongeBob?
Where do you see SpongeBob on my computer? Oh, yeah, this is SpongeBob. Don't worry about that. It's been there since day one.
Okay.
Well, that's a little what?
What?
You were saying something about, my ethics?
Oh, I was just saying that's a little weird.
What, the barking dog thing? Well,
no, I was talking about SpongeBob.
The SpongeBob. Sorry.
SpongeBob the whole time.
I think I tried to encourage you to go to these pulley events with us.
Yeah, no, sorry.
You never went. But yeah,
I would have died. I would have actually went into cardiac arrest.
I liked it. It brought us together, and it, got us ready for boot camp. And I was ready. You saw me. I was kicking. I was listening to Sodom's Marines over and over again, ready to go in there and get some. And then...
Yeah, he even promoted it to half the school.
Oh, yeah. In school, I was handing out our recruiters' cards, which actually had the wrong phone number on them, which I had to rewrite in our ink stick.
Whose phone number?
It was just the wrong number. It was off by 1 digit. Because, cool, I guess.
Well, the official Marine recruitment card has the wrong phone number.
It's great, isn't it? Just for our office.
I feel bad for the one dude who got a bunch of phone calls.
Hey, I'm interested in joining the Marine Corps. Stop calling me!
It's like some old, Vietnam vet. I haven't been in the Marines since Nam.
That'd be quite the coincidence. You'd probably talk him out of it, honestly. Which was in Vietnam. And yeah, I remember one time we had this like big convention where we were all like going to see what clubs we want, and I just took over a table.
There was just one with nothing on it.
Yeah, so me and two other my friends, I think.
And me.
And you, yeah. And these other two friends, they were also going to the military. It was Chris and who else?
I don't know. I still
Somebody
see him
else.
at school. I don't talk to him ever.
Yeah. But he was going to the Air Force, I was going to the Marine Corps, and then I think the other guy was going to the Navy. So I was just handing out cards, and I was like, just saying how much cooler we are than the other branches, even though I wasn't a Marine yet. But, you know, I being in that environment, you know, it's not the same, I know, but it got me hyped up for boot camp. And I knew it was going to be miserable, I knew it, but, you know, it was fun. And then eventually we had a pulley event, a mandatory pulley event. We already had a few of these, they're called ISTs, Initial Strength Test. It's a 1.5 mile run as fast as you can. Like pull-ups, crunches, ammo cans, and what else? I think that's it. So, I mean, my whole thing was I wanted to be the best. So I outran everybody there. And I'm pretty happy with myself on that. Most of the time I could beat everybody in running. Sometimes there were some, like, country-bred dudes who ran like meth heads, but then couldn't do pull-ups. And I beat them on the pull-ups. I think
so they were on meth.
Yes. I think my IST was 10:30 runtime, which isn't the fastest, but it was alright. And I had a pull-up of...
Yeah, you're not Usain Bolt.
But... No, but I mean, after doing that, though, I could do 12 pull-ups overhand, not underhand, because even if it's a chin-up, it still counts as a pull-up to the Marine Corps.
That's...
Strange? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of strange things. Like, you can actually swap out your crunches for a plank, which is what I wanted to do for my initial strength test, because at the time I could hold a 5-minute plank, and I still can, which is miserable, but I like it more than crunches because my back doesn't hurt after I'm done.
Your back hurts from normal crunches?
Yeah.
How far up do you go?
I'm not too far.
It goes all the way up to your legs.
It's just a sit-up. No, I go pretty far, but it shouldn't be that bad. Nowadays, I take it easier, but I get more of a burn, actually, but I still do my planks. I do side planks, too. And at the end of this IST, it was me in first place, and it was like my other squad leader in second place, and there was like some random pulley, and I was like, good job, man. But then we got word that we had to do this overnight thing. Remember this?
Oh, yeah. You have to make a tent. That's all I remember from it, to be honest.
We didn't make a tent.
What's the one where you made a tent and you, like, bragged about it because you're like, I was in Boy Scouts, so I made the tent.
Oh, it wasn't a tent. It was a, what's that thing called? The thing you lay on. A cot.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were brought to someplace in kind of northern-ish Louisiana. I don't remember where it was, but it was a far ride from where we are.
Sandville.
And we're going to get to MEPS in a second, because MEPS is a whole other thing. Oh, MEPS.
He enjoyed it.
I did not enjoy MEPS. It was funny, but I didn't enjoy it. But this overnight pulley event, we rolled up to this place. It was like a gym of a high school or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like 120 of us there, 120 pulleys, and they had actual drill instructors and stuff. And it was a whole lot of yelling. I got to see Sergeant T yell at random people, and I couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny seeing him like go off on people. And then he saw me, and he just like whenever we saw one another, it was funny because like you can't. We're friends. Maybe we weren't friends. It just seemed like we were friends,
Friendly enough.
Yeah, he's a recruiter. I'm a potential recruit, so of course he's gonna be friendly. And, yeah, we got yelled at a lot. But we get there.
Expected, though.
We eat some MREs, which are...
Didn't you say they were bad?
These ones were particularly bad, which they're MREs, but I ate the crackers and the peanut butter, and that's about all I had.
I knew that. And you traded some, like, yours for more crackers.
Yeah, I got, like, 4 packs of crackers. And then somebody ate the gum, which it's not gum, it's hardcore laxatives. So they had to wake up and run tomorrow, and that didn't go well. One dude back-talked drill instructor, and then rather than, because there's like CEOs around, which you're not supposed to actually curse at recruits, but of course they do it anyway. And this dude just disrespecting this drill instructor, and he's like, okay, you're done, get out. And the actual drill instructor grabs his recruiting officer and like, what the hell are you teaching this dude? And gets him on him, and he was out. I never saw him again. Maybe it was like, making an example of him, or maybe the whole thing was staged. I really don't know. It could have been.
So, dude, I want you to curse me out in the middle of a...
Nah, but I had a target on my back from the beginning there because I had the black police shirt because I was a squad leader.
Oh.
I was very proud of
So
this.
they specifically targeted you
Yeah,
because
they
you were black.
Yes, because of my blackness. No, but there was me and there was 4 other squad leaders there, so we got singled out. I'm like, you set an example for these people. You better do good. And I did good. And that was the worst mile and a half I've ever done. The whole thing was uphill.
Oh.
It was a god awful track. I got an 11-minute time. And
It was muddy and stuff.
It wasn't. Well, it had rained the day before. It was super humid out.
Mm.
Whole thing sucked. And then we woke up the next day, got our stuff, and then we just left. It wasn't that eventful of a thing, but, it was interesting. It was like, you think this is bad? Boot camp's 10 times worse. Which we'll get to. Honestly, I don't think it was.
They always say that.
Yeah.
At school. You're told that all the time.
Oh, college is going to be so much harder.
By middle schoolers, teachers are going to be like, high school is going to be brutal to you, and then high school teachers are like, college professors, they're gonna be brutal to you and stuff.
The real world is going to, okay, dude.
They do that, which I understand. They're just, trying to make you want to be prepared and stuff more, but it's just blown out of proportion to when you actually get to that point.
Yeah.
It's not close. Oh, you got...
That was yours.
Oh, I got a notification?
Yeah, you should mute your phone like I did. Degenerate.
Oh, watch that you, get an alarm in the middle of this podcast?
Let me see. I don't think so. Now, after this event, we were driving back, and, I felt super sick. But I think it was just not drinking enough water because I didn't want to go anywhere. But I, it was good. And then a few more ISTs later, because they happen, every 2 weeks, I think. It was time for MEPS. Although I had done MEPS earlier, so this is kind of jumping on the timeline. First time I went to MEPS is when you get sworn in. That means you're signed up for the delayed entry program. You're going to boot camp. Unless something crazy happens, you are going to boot camp.
Just gets a broken leg.
So they put us in a hotel.
Yeah.
Right? I get a breakfast of I think a Jimmy Dean's. It was a good Jimmy Dean's though. And then we go to MEPS. And I was in this room with this other guy. He was going to the Air Force. And he's like, we were just talking about random nonsense. He seemed like such a gamer, it's not gonna go well for him.
You played the new Call of Duty, dude?
He was talking about Rainbow Six Siege, I think.
I can destroy terrorists faster than you.
Mm-hmm. You can tell just even in the before you go into boot camp, you can tell the attitude of people, and it's very different being in the pulley program and then looking at what other branches do to get people ready for it. This dude he had no bearing. I was there and I was serious. I was going. We got on this bus and we're driving to MEPS, which is actually closer to where we are now than the hotel was, so it would have been easier to just drive there or even walk, honestly. And we get into MEPS. And we get in the line. We pee in front of this Coast Guard guy. He's watching us because he had to watch us. Which is kind of funny.
He just looks down, just stares.
No, we were there's 4 of us in front of this urinal, and he was just down but he was looking down between us and the urinal. So he was just
is that real?
That event prepared me more for boot camp than the actual overnight thing, which we'll get to in a little bit. And later on, everyone knows about the hearing test. You put the earmuffs on, you're tripping out. You're did I hear something or did I not hear something?
Yeah, I hate that. You hear some faint beep. And it's is that my heart or?
And you get an eye test, normal stuff, and then you go to the naked room. And you go in there one at a time. They tell you, okay, take off your clothes, and you're in your underwear, just your underwear. And it's really funny, and again good preparation for boot camp. Because that's all that was. And, yeah.
Then you duck walked.
Yep, before then, we got up and we were, doing random motions, to test our range of motion. Because that's what it really is in the naked room. So we got the duck walk. And I was really worried, because I don't know if you've heard it, podcast listeners, but my ankle goes pop. Okay? And it does it, most times when I step, if I'm not thinking about not doing it. So I was really worried about that. Dude, that started late in high school, and I was thinking, man, I don't want to get held back from boot camp because of my ankle. I've been so mad. But he looked at my feet, and I was like, okay, you're good. I was like, okay, thank Christ. I was really worried about that. And then this decrepit individual walks out from this back room, and he points to the guy on the left, and went by height, the shortest guy, and he's like, "You come here," and then he walks back, and this dude walks back out with this pale look on his face, and I knew exactly what this next room was. That man just had been fingered. That's not the politically correct term for it, but he had been touched.
Maybe Brayden shouldn't watch this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Skip out on this.
Yeah, skip this one. I already said it. But yeah, he touched his bumhole, and he did a thing with his balls, which we'll get to in a second.
A thing with his balls.
Yes.
What did he do?
I'll explain in a second.
So I start with an M?
No, he didn't molest his balls. He juggled them. So no, it gets to me. I walk in there. I'm like, dude, okay. I said to the guy like, "Let me take it off now." I think I made a joke to him. I don't remember what it was, but I told him a joke, and he didn't look amused at all.
I mean,
I'm sure he's heard it a million times.
If I was in his position, I just wouldn't care.
Like, I've done nothing but look at butts my entire life. So I take my underwear off, and he looks at my butt. He's like, "Okay, that's good." And because it's COVID, we can't actually do the cough, so I have to pretend I'm picking something up with my mouth closed to make the same. Because the goal is to make you squinch down there. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Is that the correct word?
I don't know what
I don't know the proper term.
Because I've always had to do the cough thing.
Yeah. You have?
Every time I get a checkup.
Do you do that every time you go to the checkup?
Oh, this is another rehash, huh?
Wait.
We talked about this, and we talked about how I went to the doctor's, I got my balls touched because of a checkup last time.
I've never had that for a normal checkup.
It's always been like that.
Not for me.
I don't know what doctor you go to. Cause
a good one that doesn't molest me.
That's normal.
No.
That's normal.
No, it's not.
You must just have a nomenon or something.
Okay.
Because a
lot
of people...
Leave it in the comments. Is this normal? Well, never mind. Everybody else, let us know. So, moving on. It's weird. So he kind of puts his hands, he uses 3 fingers in this claw crab motion, right?
Just stabbing you.
No. So, your pointer and middle finger go under the sack.
Okay.
And the thumb goes on top of the shaft.
Okay.
And he's like, "Alright, pretend you're lifting up something." It's like, and he does this kind of, he squeezes them a little bit. And
pretend you're lifting up something?
Yeah.
What's it supposed to mean?
Well, it's meant to, so that you're exerting effort.
Oh.
I guess it's to make sure you don't have cancer or, some weird ball syndrome. And then,
I have weird ball syndrome.
Yes.
What
a diagnosis. Dear God. Weird ball syndrome. No.
WBS.
That sounds like an actual thing. And then, he actually thanked me for my service after he
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. Then I left, and I was laughing when I walked out of there. That was funny. I put my clothes back on, and then I left. And then, obviously, it's only guys in this room. There's no girls, obviously, because you gotta keep them separate. But on the outside of this room, there is, it's guys, girls, everybody who's going to the military. They're all just sitting there. They've done everything. They're just watching TV now, waiting to get sworn in.
Yes. So
we're sitting there, and we watched 2 whole movies. We're just sitting there. And then everybody gets done. We're all just laughing about how we got touched. And then, apparently...
Group funny moments.
Yeah, apparently, the girls, the guy that, it was a guy who did their exam. The doctor, which I don't know if that's right. That doesn't sound right, does it?
Mm.
Especially since these are mostly teenagers. Which...
It's not like they're trying to be creepy when they do it.
No, I know, but it's just weird, you know? I don't know.
When I go for a checkup, it's a woman who touches my balls, alright?
Well, that's a first for you. It's okay.
Sigh.
And then, after this, we get sworn in, so we stand in front of this thing, and we're swearing, and then...
It's just start swearing.
Yeah. Fuck you, no. It's the first time someone there is actually nice to us, because everybody else, it's really cold. It's meant to be that way. It's supposed to be I don't want to say institutionalized, not yet. But it's
supposed to be like the institute.
No, it's meant to be like boot camp, I guess. I guess that's the point. No one really cares. They're just kind of neutral at best, and then rude at worst.
Again, they probably just have to do this a lot.
Yeah.
That they just...
Either that, or I think they're told, honestly.
Yeah.
But this lady, he was a Navy, I think, warrant officer or something. She swore us in. Maybe she was Air Force. I don't remember. Regardless, we swore in. There's even a Space Force flag in there, which I had never seen before.
Oh, those guys protecting the
I didn't.
ISS.
Unfortunately, I didn't see any Space Force recruits there. I don't think you can actually
It's
just.
just a dude in an astronaut suit.
Yeah. I don't think you can actually just go into the Space Force. I think you have to be Air Force or Navy first.
Oh, so you have to already be from
Yeah,
a different branch to go into.
I really don't know how they work. I've heard nothing about them.
Like, what exactly is their duties? Like, where do they get sent off to?
The space?
They get sent to guard the ISS.
I guess. All right, hear me out. Become a Marine. Go to Space Force. Space Marine.
Time to use my space MRE.
Then we wait. Sergeant Turner, or shit. We wait. Sergeant T picks us up.
Sergeant Timmy.
Yeah, Sergeant Timmy picks us up, and we drive. And he actually dropped me off back at our house, which is it's quite the detour. And he's like, "Oh, this is where you live."
Wait a
okay.
minute, haven't you been calling him Sergeant G?
No, Sergeant T.
Oh.
Well, T and G sound similar over microphone, so that's why I kind of said tango to begin with. But he drives us off, and all good. Cool. And then, I think because I left for boot camp January 10th, so about a week before then I had to go to MEPS again. And this is the final checkup. It was a small one. We took a test, like a written test. They did an examination. All good. And in the days preceding leaving for boot camp, there was this really weird feeling. It was a mixed feeling, I was excited for this journey. I wasn't really scared. I was just it was weird. It was kind of dread, but hopeful dread in a weird way.
Well, I mean, yeah, you are just leaving your family.
Yeah. And I wanted to hang out with you, but you didn't hang out with me the day before I left. And I was very upset with you about that, and I still am. But that's besides the point. Don't even defend yourself. I'm mad at you.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, of course.
Didn't I say bye to you, though?
Yeah.
I did come over.
Mm-hmm. And then drove up to my grandparents' house. There I was. Everybody said bye to me. There was tears, and I left for boot camp. Yeah. So that same hotel that we went to for MEPS, that's where we got dropped off at. And sorry, I'm trying to recount everything. Yeah, and this is when it was everybody. So we were all sitting there. Every branch gets into the same airport, and then they get sent out to the actual stations they're going to go train at. So I got accustomed with all the Marine guys, and I was the only squad leader there now. I wasn't wearing the shirt. I was wearing a nice flannel and whatnot, getting ready. And
Then you met Bubba.
I didn't meet Bubba yet. I got a guy who's kind of like Bubba.
Oh.
Yeah, just wait. So, yeah, we're talking, eating breakfast, getting ready to go. They put us on the bus, go to the airport, everything calm so far. We get our tickets. We sit there and wait for like 4 hours. It's really nice. We play cards, whatnot. Sergeant T buys me a notepad to bring to boot camp. I had my social security card, like $10. I hope just random stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those $10 would come to save me later. We'll get to that. And, yeah. We get going, and we get on the first aircraft. We fly for like 2 hours, land, repeat the process. It's a small aircraft now. I meet Texas, which is there's these three dudes, I remember from boot camp. They all were from Texas. They all had giant belt buckles, and they all had big hats.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah. Not really. So we got this smaller aircraft, and on the flight there, it occurs to me like everyone on this airplane is the people going to Parris Island. Everybody on this plane, they're all recruits. They're like, okay, we're all holding the same manila folder. And we land in, I still can't remember, is it North or South Carolina? Whatever.
I mean, you could also just search it
I
up.
could, I don't feel like it. One of the Carolinas, right?
Okay.
Actually, this would come back later, because it's important to the...
To the plot.
It is. And we land there, and then we have to walk to someplace, and then there are drill instructors there, receiving drill instructors at the airport, and they're screaming at people in the middle of an airport at like 2 a.m.
Like a normal international airport?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's really funny. We had our own little corner to ourselves, and we were in line for like 2 hours because they had to make sure everyone was accounted for. So we all got signed in. We were all there, and we waited outside in the freaking cold. And this is also another thing they don't tell you. Boot camp is cold. It's really cold. Because I was going January 10th,
Oh, well, it should be expected. It's cold.
Yeah. And we get on this bus, and they say put your heads down because they don't want you to see where you're going. Because they don't want you to know how to get back to the airport.
Oh.
Or at least that's what I thought it was. So we have our manila folder, I have my little notepad, and that's it. No phone. I never had my phone with me.
Did you write anything down?
I did. I sent some letters back, which are, I don't know, they're lost to history now. And I was like,
forgot
you know what, bro, I'm really tired, so I just fall asleep on this bus. I wasn't supposed to do that, but no one called me. And I woke up, and I remember looking up, and I saw a Parris Island sign. Like, well, this is it, boy. So I hear the bus's brakes stop. And before this, they had told us, like, okay, everybody heads up. So we're looking around, like, this is it. Shit, this is really it. This is actually happening. Imagine this, everyone's in there. It's like, all right, we're going to do this in an organized way. Everybody from the front row, get up, go. Second row. And they're screaming. It's crazy already. They're screaming. And they have the yellow footprints outside. Everyone has a little yellow footprint. Stand on the yellow footprints. So we stand on the yellow footprints. And then row by row, we all go in to this big reception area. Sit down in a little stair or places. And they've given us masks specifically for us with crappy material that broke like immediately. And yeah, so we're in this big area. They're sighting us in. They're like, "You will respect the drill sergeant when you are here." And normal, Marine Corps drill instructor stuff. You better not call them a drill sergeant, or they will fucking kill you. They are drill instructors, not drill sergeants.
They don't like that term or something?
So drill sergeants in the Army, you don't call them sir. You call them drill sergeant. In Marine Corps, you call them sir.
Oh.
Even though you're out of boot camp, you call them... Well, okay. So it all depends. You say yes, sir, no, sir, and then I, sir. So I, sir is like you're following the command they've given you. So let's say he says, go pick up trash.
I.
Say, no, you don't say I. They will kill you. You say I, sir. That means you understand. You are doing that thing. If they ask you a question, yes, sir, no, sir. Or, no, wait. I'm trying to remember. But when you have to... So let's say you're the drill instructor, right? And I'm asking you to use the bathroom. You don't call the bathroom. So first I would ask...
Go to the John.
No. So first I would ask you... And you can't say I. There's no singular words. It's this recruit.
Oh.
So this recruit requests permission to speak to senior drill instructor so-and-so or drill instructor so-and-so, right? And then if you give me the permission to say, this recruit requests permission to make a head call. That's how you say to use the bathroom. You have to go through that whole nonsense to go take a piss.
A head call?
Yeah, head call.
Not the John?
Everything was renamed. So pens, they were not pens. They were ink sticks. Sneakers were not called sneakers. They're called Go Fasters.
Wow, way to make the Marine Corps stereotype better. Flashlights,
they were moonbeams. And there's some other funny ones too, I'm sure I'll remember. Oh, the shower was the rain room. And we'll get to the other stuff later. So these are our receiving drill instructors. They're a lot easier on you than actual drill instructors, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like 2 of them for us. We had, I forget his name, but we had box chow, which is our meals like in a box, which I actually like better than the regular chow.
It's just like a Chinese to-go box.
No, it's this really big sandwich and other stuff. And it's really good. And they even had some sweets in them, which you wouldn't get later on in boot camp.
Oh, well, so what did you usually eat?
I'll tell you. We'll get to that. So we're sitting there, we're getting all of our stuff assigned to us. And of course, we got our heads saved, which I had never experienced before. It was a really weird feeling. I really like feeling my scalp after I got it all cut. Because have you ever been bald before?
No.
It feels really weird. And you can feel the wind like hitting and it's a really unique feeling for a little while. It's really cool. I looked ugly I looked like a terrorist. You remember my picture?
Yeah. I remember seeing you in a crowd of people.
I don't think that was me. I looked at that picture. I don't think it was me. We all looked the same. That's the point. A little bit later, we're in this big auditorium area. We were learning how to march, and we got awful at it, as you'd expect. We just got there. I knew we already had to do about facing a few basic commands, but a lot of stuff we're really bad at. Get to this big auditorium area. Some dude has a heart attack.
Dude.
Yeah. And whenever we were tested on this beforehand, and they instructed us what to do, they call like recruit down or something like that, or trainee down. And then they made us all look away. So they said something along the lines, because if they say eyeballs, you have to like look at them.
Okay.
If they say ears, and you say open, sir, stuff like that, right? Or our kill dad would say boom, and we'd run away. Stuff like that, right? And Yeah, this dude, he has a heart attack in the auditorium, and we have to stand, turn away from him for about 30 minutes until an ambulance picks him up. I actually saw him later. He wasn't dead. I don't know if he was being for real or if it was fake. It could have been real. I really don't know.
I bet he had to pay like a $4,000 for that ambulance ride.
Nope, he didn't. The government did.
Oh.
Because if I had to pay for all the stuff that they had to do for me when I was there, I'd be poor. I'd shoot myself. Just kidding.
In game.
We'll get to the stuff that happened to me, and if you can't tell my voice, it's still it sucks because if you couldn't tell at me saying I started this journey like in high school freshman year, it really was a big blow to my morale for a while because I wanted to be a Marine so freaking bad, and I still do. Just as an officer this time if I go back. Yeah, I was going for infantry because I wanted to get some as it was. Not kill people, I'm not saying that, but wanted to get some. You, after this auditorium thing, was sitting there for a little bit longer. Continue the class right where we left off at before the dude died. Or almost died, whatever. And then we go, and we've been awake for like 28 hours this time. We've been awake for a long time. If you fell asleep, they IT'd you, which is basically just punishment. Or they exercise you. Okay? You following so far?
Yes.
After this, we go walk to mess hall. And we could actually like pick up food that we want. And, you know, contrary to everything I've heard, the food at boot camp is really, really good. I mean, it's really good. It's so much of it, too. And you're running, you can eat whatever you want. You're running everywhere. You're doing all physical activity all day. You're allowed to eat whatever... Well, you can eat whatever you want.
It's a buffet, but...
It is, but don't get caught with too much or they will kill you.
Really?
Yeah. It all depends, really. If you're a fat body, not trying to be disrespectful, that's what they call people who are fat. They'd get mad at you if you were eating a lot. Mm. If you were skinny, they'd get mad at you if you weren't eating enough.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So, me, I was eating, like, every meal I'd have 5 slices of bread and, like, 2 chicken breasts. It was a lot of... I'd say each meal was, like, 1,600 calories. Right? Because I needed it.
I mean, you are working out.
Yeah, all day. And I got this meal, and I ate really kind of conservatively my first time. I didn't eat much. Because I didn't know. But I saw this one dude who had, like, a whole loaf of bread in his plate. Like, he grabbed the whole loaf.
I just imagine, like, a guy like this just grabs
bro. So we had these little crappy, like high school cafeteria trays, right?
Yeah.
And this thing was stacked like half a foot up.
Bro got a whole Scooby-Doo sandwich.
Bread. Yeah, it was funny. He had more bread than anything else. And the drill instructors didn't say anything to him.
He really loves grain.
They didn't say anything to him.
I mean, what did he look like?
He was a tall black dude.
Okay. I meant, like, was he, like, big or...
He was kind of tall, lengthy, skinny.
Okay.
And we were told what company we're going to be in beforehand.
I just imagine he's shaggy. It's just like his mouth extends all the way up and he eats the whole thing whole.
So I was part of Lima, and I'm not going to tell you the number, but it was Lima company, right? And we would meet our senior drill instructors next week. We had a little bit of time to prepare with the introduction drill instructors, who were they're called receiving drill instructors. So they're going to teach you how not to get killed at Parris Island. And they do a pretty good job. And we do our initial strength test at Parris Island, which I'd say like 70% of the people they passed. 30% of people, they were out. That was it for them. So a lot of them, I'm sure, made it, just quit on purpose. So I passed.
Oh, I'm not going to like this.
The other thing that people did is they just refused the COVID shot, and they were gone. They were gone. Like, they did this whole journey, got their head shaved for nothing. They're gone.
Wow. Rip the hair, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really get why they did all that to just, get kicked out. But regardless, I don't know, man. That sucks. Regardless of how you feel about the COVID shot, I would be mad if I had such strong beliefs against it that it ruined my future dreams. And it did ruin my future dreams, as it would turn out.
The COVID shot was what caused it.
Yeah. So I forgot to mention this. This is the most crucial part of the freaking story. On the second day we're there, and we still haven't slept yet, we had to go get shots. And you go to this thing that I had called Shot Alley. I don't know if that's the actual name, but I like it.
Shot Alley.
Because it made sense. So you'd get a butt shot, you get 4 different shots in your arm, and you get the COVID vaccine. And each one of these, they'd tag you with it to say you've already gotten it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going through, I get some random shot. We have to take 2 pills that just give us a virus. Seriously, they're just virus capsules. You take them and you get a virus. It's so you get immune to it before you go send off to other countries.
I'm assuming it's because I'm assuming they're already like very weak though.
Yes, but it still it fucked everybody up.
Oh really?
Some people just didn't even take it.
And you could just say no.
Well, no, you just go spit it out in the bathroom.
Oh.
And the worst thing is, you might as well take it because everyone's going to get sick, and they're just going to give it to you, and you're going to have it later on in training when you have to do more rigorous stuff. So I just took it.
How do you expect people to do a bunch of workouts while they're
we were all like sick as dogs when we were doing these exercises. Now I got all these shots right, and then I got my COVID vaccine, but they didn't tag me that I had gotten my COVID vaccine. And then the receiving drill instructor noticed I didn't have it. And then I tried to explain to him that, hey, I already received my COVID vaccine. He's like, no, the fuck you did not. I don't see it in your arm. And I was like, okay, dude. So
that was quick.
I go and I get another one. I should have refused it there. I really should have. And this would have drastic effects later.
Foreshadowing.
Yes. But let's jump back to where we were before. The actual drill instructors, they show up. We have our senior drill instructor, we have our kill hat, we have our drill hat, which he's responsible for drill, and we have our knowledge hat. He's the
knowledge hat?
Yeah, he teaches you things.
He just has like a...
Also, our knowledge hat had a beautiful voice. He really did.
Started singing melodies.
Cadence was... I love Cadence, man. Some people hated it. I love Cadence. It was really uplifting. Because our senior drill instructor and our kill hat could sing really well. Our kill hat sounded like Kermit the Frog. And he didn't know how to march in step. So it was really bad. But, a little bit later, maybe 2 days after, the timeline's a little skewy because my brain wasn't working great at this point. This is maybe week...
You may want to mute your phone, my friend.
This is maybe week 2, like very early 2, because we just met our drill instructors. And we're marching. We're just doing nonsense, right? We're marching. We do an obstacle course, all this stuff. All good, right? Cool.
All hunky dory.
Yeah. And I'm doing good. I'm running. My whole plan was to be like, I don't want any position of power. I don't want to be scribe. I don't want to be squad. I don't want to be anything. I'm going to be like wallpaper. You don't see me. So I'm going to get through this. Right?
Alright.
That makes sense?
Wait, scribe?
Yeah.
Is that the knowledge keeper?
Well, kind of. So scribe, he was responsible for like assigning people to Firewatch. Everyone hated scribe. Everyone hated scribe so freaking much. Because he didn't know how to use Firewatch apparently. He just marked the same people for Firewatch every night. I was one of these people. I hated scribe.
He didn't switch him out for...
I told him, like, hey, dude, I've had Firewatch 4 nights in a row now. Can you swap me? He's like, what?
Sorry, you're the only guy I know.
So, yeah, let me run down a few people. We have a few distinct characters at Camp... I almost said Salmon. This is not Camp Salmon. This is worse.
Camp
Actually, no, this is not as bad as Camp Salmon. This is Parris Island. And my bunkmate, his name, or rackmate, was named Peabody, which is ironic because he pissed himself later on. There's also Guide. He's like the guy.
Oh, I thought you said God. Like,
his name is Guide.
Guide. Okay.
And he's pretty cool. The guy. He does the best to keep everybody in line, but everyone hates him because he's an authority figure and he's not actually a drill instructor. But I respected him. I get he was dealing with a lot of bullshit all the time. And then, I've missed the shower part. Shower time, late at night. It was interesting. They're like, okay, take off your tops, take off your bottoms, and then when everybody said take off your bottoms, you got to remember. Well, I guess you wouldn't remember because I haven't explained this to you yet. There aren't underwear in boot camp. There's
no. Even when you're wearing pants?
Well, when you're wearing pants, yeah, but your underwear isn't actually underwear. It's these little bottoms.
Oh.
And they have these little... It has a little spot for your junk, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's like a little bit above your knees. Okay. They're exercise shorts. So, we all just got naked. In a line, 120 of us. Like, okay, go get clean. So we marched to the shower naked. Penises are dangling. And we're all in line getting showered. Like, okay, you got 2 minutes. All 120 of you get clean. So it was a lot of penis. And
there was a lot of that, huh?
There was a lot of penis, man. Now, we're going to get to my good friend from, I think he was from Sudan. One of the Sudans. I've talked to this dude, and he had to explain to the senior drill instructor that his penis was a bit big. So, these little exercise shorts that I explained to you, they go up to your knee. Above that. The tip of his penis showed through his shorts because it went all the way down. So, one of the drill instructors asked him, like, what is that?
My hog. That's his response.
So our kill hat asked him. Yeah, our kill hat asked him, like, what is that? And then the guy was kind of embarrassed. He said, in his thick African accent, "Sir, this is my penis, sir." And then I saw the guy.
Be straightforward.
Yeah. I saw whenever the drill instructors were laughing, they like put their hat down because they're the cover downs. It was really funny. So the kill hat goes back into the drill instructor hut and tells the senior drill instructor this. And senior drill instructor comes back out and is like, "Son, I hear you got a big dick," and throws some underwear at him.
Here, we got the extra large.
Yeah, so he gives him underwear, and then problem solved. But dear God, man, he could never be in a relationship. He would destroy. He would kill someone.
Or rip the person.
Yeah, in half. It would not work. This is not a PG-13 episode.
Please.
Braden, don't watch this.
We already warned you.
Yeah, don't watch. So that was funny. And then we had another funny thing. We had 2 Asian guys. One name was Wu and one name was Yu.
Okay.
So there was Wu and Yu, and they look similar. And our kill hat was like, alright, which one of you is Wu? And then they both say, "This recruit, sir." "No, which one is Wu? Which one of you is Wu?" And they both say, "This recruit, sir." And he gets pissed. He like throws his cover at the ground. "Which one of you is you?" I gotta lower that volume. Or which one of you? He's screaming, right? "Which one of you is you?" And then Wu, W-U, says, "This recruit, sir." It's like, "You're you?" "No, this recruit is Wu." And the drill instructor's laughing at this point. And when a drill instructor laughs, you know you're all gonna die.
Oh.
You're all gonna die. Eventually they shorted out, and we have to run online for like an hour, just doing high knees.
Because they couldn't find out who...
Well, it was a misunderstanding. You know, it was a funny misunderstanding. And, yeah, we got punished for that. What else in the early days happened? We did some more exercises. Everything was going good. Getting stuff done. 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks later, I start feeling really bad after a run. And I felt bad during the run. I started getting, like, heart palpitations and stuff. And, like, my heart's fluttering. It's never done that before in my life. And, like, I could feel it hurt really bad. It was kind of, like, all of a sudden, which doesn't look good to a drill instructor if it's just all of a sudden because they think you're faking.
Yeah.
So, I'm standing in mess hall line, and then I just collapse, according to the people who told me afterwards. And apparently I was fighting with the ambulance people who were showing up to save me because I was out of it.
Okay.
Because not fighting like in a coherent sense. It was like, don't touch me with that needle kind of thing.
Oh.
And I had no clue what was going on.
I was going to say, when's your most conscience that you remember?
So I remember being on the ambulance driving a little bit. And then I remember at the hospital where I'm sitting there and I was still in this really fuzzy state and I didn't really know what was going on. Coherence was out of the window. I was sitting there in proper boot camp position, which is like your legs are like this and your hands are flat on your knees. And I was just giving the proper greeting of the day to everyone who walked by me. So I was just screaming, "Good morning, sir! Good morning, man!" to everyone walking here. And just random people.
Some random, like...
Guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah, you see Hector Salamanca just rolling.
"Good morning, sir!" Ding. Ding. Yes. And then they have to, like, persuade me they're not in the military.
We're just a doctor, sir.
You don't have to do... And I was so out... I couldn't remember my sister's name. I couldn't remember people's faces. I was really scared. And it was one of the first times in my life I was, like, this is it. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm a prisoner here or something. And this prisoner idea, it was scary because I believed it. And they had done a bunch of tests when I was there. This is what really kind of messed me over. They did a COVID test and I popped positive, which, that's why I don't really know what did this to me. I don't know if it was COVID or the COVID vaccines that I got double of, right?
Maybe it was a bit of both.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards. But they put me in, like, this holding area for people with COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still really loopy. I don't know if it was dehydrated. They had me on an IV, right?
Yeah.
And I'd been sitting here for a while, and I remember, like, I gotta get out of here. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but these people are, like, trying to do something to me. I was super out of it. And this sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah, you sound like a dude at an insane
I
asylum.
know, I sound nuts. And it wasn't really me. I was incoherent. So I took the IV out of my arm. I unplugged myself from all these wires. And I had my cover. I was in uniform. So I had this little piece of napkin I had taken from the bathroom. And my plan was I was going to put it between the sensor of the auto-locking door so I could open it when they leave. Okay?
Okay.
So I was... But there's not really a door in between me and the outside world. It's just kind of this cloth thing, so I could have just opened it. And then the actual door would have been that mechanical door I had talking about. But the nurse was like, "Sir, why are you standing at the door?" They saw my feet under the towel. And I just sat back down. So then about like 2 hours ago, and I'm just miserable sitting in this chair, I started to regain a little bit more idea. But I still couldn't remember everything. And they had me do a test where what is this animal? And I didn't know what it was.
Well, do you remember what it looked like?
Yeah, it was. I think it's a tiger. But I said, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to just say, it's a dog.
Dude, I was so out of it. And it's really weird to talk about because, on one hand, I accept responsibility for the nonsense that happened there. But on the other hand, I wasn't really all there,
Yeah, you're not really conscious.
So they bring me back to Parris Island. This drill instructor picks me up. And he's like, "Okay, we're going to walk to my car, and then we're going to go back to Parris Island." He's talking to me like I'm a person. And I'm like, what? I didn't know what the words he just said meant. And he was like, "Oh, they fucked you up, didn't they?" And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I didn't understand him. Looking back on it, I get the words that he's saying, but I was so out of it, I was like, I don't know what's going on. And... again, this is why it's so scary to me to look back on this, because, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what was going on. It's so weird. We get to Parris Island, and on the medical site on Parris Island, they have this opening sliding door. I don't know why they brought me back already. Because, they didn't do any tests on, the pain. I guess I didn't explain it to them yet, because I was so out of it, right? So, I'm sitting in this car, and the drill instructor, he waves at me, come on in. And then I get to this door, this, auto-opening door with a sensor, and I didn't know how it worked.
Oh. So what'd you do?
I was standing at the door.
There?
I was just standing at the door, waiting.
You gonna open it for me?
Yeah, I didn't know how it was working, so I remember walking to the door, looking at, wow, this is crazy. How does this work? It sounds funny, doesn't it?
It's like a caveman finding out about technology.
I guess, man. And I say this in a place of hope that y'all won't make fun of me too bad. And we sit down with the on-base physician, who, by the way, had pink eye in both eyes, because pink eye was super bad at Parris Island. And he's like, "Okay, describe to me your symptoms." I was like, my chest hurts, and I don't know, my heart rate's all weird. I've tried to explain it to him the best I can. I don't even know if I got the words in my mouth, really. And I was like, "Okay." And he gives me, a ridiculously high dose of Tylenol. "Take this." So I go back to... right now, I still have COVID, so I'm back at my in COVID holding platoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm beginning to regain mental faculties while there. We watched Moana 4 times.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Me and 4 of their sick, poor bastards. We were listening to Moana and watching random movies.
Friday.
Yeah, we watched Moana a lot because the other movies they had there were really depressing. They were all war movies.
Saving Private Ryan.
There was.
I would have watched that.
We watched it, but then we all just felt horrible afterwards.
Oh. What about... was there Forrest Gump?
No.
Oh.
And while I'm there, I'm trying to do exercise and stuff, because I'm trying to diagnose myself, right, to see what's going on. I got the mental faculties back. I can generally understand the world around me. But I stand up out of my rack, and I almost black out. Because I don't know what's going on, man. So I'm doing pull-ups and my heart is racing like it's like a machine gun. And we have these people come in to check on us every once in a while, and I'm telling them, like, please, I don't know what's going on with me, man. I don't feel good. I think I'm going to die here. Like, my heart is hurting so bad. I don't know what's going on. It's like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. Come back 3 days later. Okay, you ready to go back to your platoon? It's like, sure.
Oh, you said yes?
Yeah, because I was like, well, it's either going to be I'm here with you useless people, or I can go talk to my senior drill instructor who might actually, care.
Get something.
Yeah. And thankfully, he did. So I got back, and I got back to my platoon while we were doing a run. So I started running. I got back to the area we were at, and I think I told my senior drill instructor, like, I got his attention, because if you want to talk to the senior drill instructor, he's not online or like walking around. You have to bang on the hatch 3 times.
Okay.
And you have to do a very specific thing. You have to say a certain set of words.
All right.
You got to get his attention. Like, this recruit request to speak to. If you don't do it right, they're going to IT you. And I was like, well, I can't get IT'd right now. I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to have a heart attack, and it's going to be it. So I was just going to wait. So I wait. And I wait. And I see him. And then while he's walking by, I just yell. And it hurt my chest to yell because I was still getting this heart pain. Like, this recruit request to speak to senior drill instructor so-and-so. I was like, what do you want? Like, this recruit requests permission to speak to the senior drill instructor in private, sir. And he actually said yes, which was crazy. I didn't think he was going to, but I think they have to.
Oh.
So I go and I talk to him in his office, and I tell him, like, I was just doing this run, and I still don't know what's going on. But the people just sent me to the COVID holding platoon. And I can't really hardly breathe. I get short of breath, and every time I'm doing anything, my heart just hurts really bad. And I explained to him the 2 COVID shot thing, and then he's like, "Oh shit!" And it was one of the few moments of like actual compassion, which it's meant to be boot camp. There's no compassion to be found there. It's all just suffering, but that's the whole point. And I knew that. And the part of boot camp that was like actually boot camp and training, all good. It was, look back on it with fondness, even a little bit, not much, but a little bit.
It was probably because it was a lot better than later on.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Wait, later on in boot camp?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, they say the hardest weeks are the first few. And after that, you're already just set to get through it. But it was like training week 4 or 5 when I told the general instructor that. I'm like, hey, I want to go go talk to the on-base physician because I can't do it. I'm taking the pills, they're not helping. Because they didn't even diagnose anything. They just said, like, oh, maybe it's inflammation of some kind. Great. Wow.
Oh, no, maybe it's something. I don't know. Trained doctors right here.
Yeah. So I got to talk to that guy. They become very familiar with me at the physician because they had my report sent over from the actual off-base hospital, and they were like, so are you still delirious? I was like, no. Do you still have that chest pain? Yes. And I had a resting heart rate of like 140 beats per minute or something like that.
Oh.
Which is not good, if you could imagine. It was something crazy like that. He's like, yeah, bro, you dying.
Wow, that's reassuring.
So, they didn't tell me that, but like, yeah, dude, you might die. He said something along those lines, like, well, can you fix me?
Wow, way to make your patient feel
I know, right?
better.
But I knew it was going to be like that. They're military doctors, whatever. So I get sent in the same ambulance that I was before to the off-base hospital. This is like the second time I've been there. And they're like, well, dude, we don't know what to do. We can schedule you an appointment to talk to a specialist. It's like, yeah, do that. And the whole time I was worried, like, I'm going to have to pay out of pocket for this when I get out. And they assured me that I wouldn't have to, so I took their word on it. Thankfully, they were right. And they sent me back to boot camp, and I'm just resting in my own platoon, just waiting to go talk to an actual doctor. 3 days pass. Oh, the guy has to reschedule. It's going to be 6 days now. And then, like, on one particular day, I was like, dude, I feel like about to die. Like, I was getting blurry vision. I could feel my heart rate in my eyeballs. I could feel my... Yeah, it's a little scary. And, like, okay, yeah, we're going to stay back to the hospital. Go back to the hospital. And this doctor, it's like a new doctor every time. He's like, oh, explain to me the situation. I have to spend like an hour explaining the situation to him again. It's like, okay, we're gonna get you taken care of. So they hook me up to an IV, and I'm waiting in this chair for like 6 hours, and I fall asleep, right?
Uh-huh.
And I wake up, and I guess they're taking blood from me, and I wake up and my arm's covered in blood. They did a bad IV, I guess, because I'm just bleeding out from my arm. And this nurse walks in, and she's like, "Oh, that's not good." I'm like, "No shit, fix me." I'm not dying from the bleeding out. It's just a whole bunch of dry blood. I wouldn't have been killed by that, but I was like, I'm so fed up with the medical system at this point, because I'm like, dude, I'm scared shitless. I'm going to die at Parris Island. And it's going to be funny, I guess. So, I never get to see a specialist.
Oh, you never?
No,
did?
I never got to. But they finally they were able to get a machine that was able to do a scan of my heart. And they're like, "Oh yeah, your heart wall is super inflamed." It's like, wow, that's crazy. And they're like, "Oh, well, here's some more Tylenol." So I'm now on 4 prescriptions of Tylenol, each like the highest possible dose. Like I would have overdosed on Tylenol if I were to take them all.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I was like, I'm not that stupid. So I go to my senior drill instructor and I'm like, he's well aware of the situation. He's been talked to. But the other drill instructor, my killhead, I guess he had it out to like kill me because he was making me carry all my gear around. So I was carrying like 60 pounds of stuff on me while I was like about to have a heart attack.
Did like the other guy convince him to like?
Yeah, because I brought to his attention like, this dude's trying to fucking kill. I told that to my senior instructor. I was so done. I was like, I'm not dying here. I'm telling you that this is the truth. This dude's making me carry like this much weight around. And like the medical folks saw him and they got onto his ass about it. They like yelled at my drill instructor. Like, this dude's gonna have a heart attack and you're making him carry this gear. And I was sitting there and talking to the drill instructor like, I'm done. I'm done. I didn't tell him I'm done. He told me like, okay, you can go to MRP, which is Medical Rehabilitation Platoon, or we can just hold you back for the next training cycle. And I told him like, well, how long would I sit in MRP or wait for the training cycle? It's gonna be months.
Oh.
Until you get better, because like if this continues the way it is, that's what the doctor told him. Like it's gonna be months until it gets better because this inflammation of the heart thing. It's like, nah, I'm leaving. Yeah. I'm so fed up with you doctors. I like inadequate care the entire ride here. Like, and then everyone thinks I'm just a quitter because, like, apparently everyone who has any medical issues at Parris Island is a quitter. You know? It's like, yeah, no, I work my ass off.
It's definitely in your control to get a heart condition.
I worked my ass off to get there, and I worked hard there. I was doing everything I could. But no. It's my fault according to some of their drill instructors. Like, oh yeah, you're just a quitter. Like, no, I'm not, dude. Shut up. And I was so fed up with everything, man. So, but I got all my gear, and I told him like, hey, I'm not going to MRP for months. I'm not sitting there. And he's like, okay, I understand. He even told me like, well, you didn't quit. It was medical, so you're good. You can go out. No disrespect from me. And I remember that night, I was told like, okay, you're going to RSP tomorrow. I'm like, okay, pack up all your things, get ready to go. I had a few friends in boot camp, and I had my drill instructor asked me like, do you want me to get you anything that you could need? And I was like, okay, just give me a Bible, because I had given my Bible away, and this is when I was kind of religious, because I was praying to not get, and I'm not a religious person, you know this, but in this moment I was praying to not get killed by whatever was going on, because I was so scared. And I was like, okay, yeah, give me a Bible. So I gave mine away. And I had like all my friends signed one of the pages in the Bible, and just like later friend and all that stuff. And the senior drill instructor signed it as well, which I thought was kind of cool. And I got that signature because I wanted it to be like, hey, I didn't quit. You know what I'm saying? Because he wouldn't have done this if I had quit. It's still in my room, actually on a shelf somewhere, because it's important to me. So I go to RSP, and RSP is even scarier than the rest of the shit. And I'm not a wuss. You know me from high school. I'm not a coward, but I'm not gonna die here either. I'm not gonna die at Parris Island doing recruit training.
Yeah.
So,
I think any sensible person would do the same thing in your situation. I don't think they'd want to stay, even if they have like a critical condition.
Yeah. So I'm at RSP, and I'm talking to. Before this, I got to talk to an officer who was like helping me with my paperwork to get out of boot camp. There's a whole bunch of paperwork that has to be done before you can leave, and it's dependent on how much your drill instructors care about you, because they got to deliver the paperwork, and they can just choose to not deliver the paperwork.
Really?
Yep, I
saw it. They could just withhold it?
Yep. There was a guy in RSP who'd been there a year and a half.
Then, wow, that...
That's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
He is there because his drill instructors don't care. He had an Xbox.
He just play on that.
Yeah, he had an Xbox, an RSP. He didn't talk to the drill instructors like they were drill instructors. He was like, hey, bro. He had been there for so long, they didn't care anymore. And like, what are they going to do? Punish him? He's been here for a year and a half. He's literally going to finish his contract that he signed up with Uncle Sam before he gets out of Parris Island.
Yeah.
And towards the end, he actually caught a sapper charge. And this is one of the crazy things. If someone sexually harassed you in boot camp, they would put you on, like, the urgent get out list, right?
Okay.
So if you were sexually harassed, if you had, like, threatened to kill yourself, or something nonsense like that, they put you on the, like, get out fast list. Mm-hmm. So it was incentivized to get a sapper charge placed on somebody. So a sapper charge is a sexual assault representative charge.
Alright.
So the women in RSP, like in a different area, they could just blame you for sexual harassment, and then you'd be fucked, and they'd get out faster. You see that?
Yeah. So
that happened to him, and he gets into the brig. Like the actual prison.
Oh.
This 19-year-old kid is sent to an actual prison with actual, awful people because some woman just said something. I talked to this officer before I went to RSP to explain to him my situation. He said, I'm so sorry. And I mean, that was kind of confirmation that I didn't do anything wrong there. Because I felt guilty the entire thing. And I remember calling home and I tried to explain the best I could, but I was still loopy and I guess didn't get across all the way. But, whatever. And in RSP, I didn't take a single shower the entire time I was there for that week. Because I was so, like, I'm going to get jumped in the shower or something, I'm going to get beat. Because the whole thing was run like a mafia. So, we were supposed to be able to go, like, talk to people to explain the situation on the phone to our families.
Yeah.
You had to pay the scribe there to do that.
Oh.
It was a bribery. Otherwise, he'd just make you do fire watch.
Oh, wait, is this where the $7 came in or whatever you got?
So, those $10 were able to let me go talk to my family. So I spent my $10. He gave me $5 back. Thankfully, he didn't just take the 10.
Yeah.
But our scribe left because he left like the day before I left with like $600 because he was just bribing people or people were bribing him, which good for him, I guess. And there were so many weird people there. There was like talking about sexual harassment. There was like because all the bad people get roped together. Let's say you're just a quitter. All the sad people are in there. People are like killing themselves, right? All the medical stuff. It was like me and two of the guys like were actual medical stuff. Okay. Even though I got stuck with some other than discharge, which is bullshit, right?
Wait, you got another?
Yeah, it's called an other than discharge. So it's not dishonorable. It's not honorable. It's not medical. It's other than. They didn't even give me a medical discharge, so I couldn't get any benefits after I got out. That's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah. Like
they fucked me over and then they give me no benefits. I don't even care about benefits. I get it. I'm not a veteran. I don't deserve benefits. But at least to help pay with, like,
the actual medical related stuff.
Because they did jack all when I was there. And, but yeah, I didn't take a single shower when I was there because I just stayed with my stuff because people were stealing each other's social security cards and whatnot, everything you needed to get out of there. Like wallets. Eventually I was able to get a foot locker. So I actually could put my locks on them. But there were like 3 foot lockers in the entire place, and I just grabbed one up from one of the guys who left. It was mine. The good thing about RSP is, though, you get an hour-long lunch. So you get to go, you get food. And people put on movies sometimes. You can do whatever. It was alright. But, yeah, it was a scary place. There was 2 sides to RSP. There's cold side and there's hot side, right?
Is that like the people or is that the temperature?
Cold side is temperature.
Okay.
So hot side, it had all of its windows. Cold side was cold side because somebody had killed themselves by jumping out of a window and they had never bothered to fix the window.
Wow, that's
depressing.
Yeah.
So I forgot to mention earlier, as I said, I was part of Lima Company. Mm-hmm. There's a news article, I'm going to pull it up right now.
Was there some charge on him or something?
We had a nickname called Leaping Lima. Because one of the previous training, one of the previous training regiments or platoons, who was also in Lima, had jumped off a third deck follow and killed himself.
Oh.
I'm trying to find the news article. And the whole time that I was there, our drill instructors were joking about it. It was like how he bounced a little bit. I was like, I don't want to be like that, dude. I don't want to die here and make fun of me, for having like a heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I will find it later. If I got a news, I'll find it. That was maps. Not that one. That's another death at Parris Island, but that's different. That's from a while ago. But regardless, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. And even with that being said, I felt safe within our own, own. It's not a barracks. It's with our own. I forget the name of it, but the area we slept in.
All right.
I felt generally safe there. I didn't feel like anyone was going to jump me. In RSP though, I didn't sleep much. I volunteered for Firewatch because someone's going to steal my stuff or I'm going to get killed in my sleep. I was there a very short amount of time, and I won't get into why I got out so fast, but I assume it had something to do with me explaining my situation to that officer, and then my senior drill instructor actually caring. Because I was the fastest person they've ever seen get out of there. I was there for, I think, 3 days. Oh. Most people are there for 3 weeks. This made people very envious. And eventually I got out, and there was a whole bunch of weird stuff. There was 2 really mentally unstable people there. I know I'm not giving you much of a chance to talk, Landon. This is kind of my story,
Yeah.
And eventually there was this one dude who, I guess he was going for some sort of psychiatric discharge or something, because it was fake whatever he was doing. I know it was, because I'll tell you why. He would go around and he would grab his junk underneath his pants and he'd just shake it out like it's a windmill, just at people in front of the TV and shit. And then eventually, some people, I'm not gonna say who, some people kind of beat his ass.
Oh.
Completely deservedly. It was prison. It was prison. And peanut butter was currency. I didn't even mention that. Peanut butter, because they had little things, there's a shortage of them, so they became a fine commodity. You get little peanut butter packets, bro, you were rich.
You were king of the
castle.
castle.
You could trade them for actual money. Because you would have to smuggle them back into RSP. You weren't supposed to bring any back. So people would smuggle them. I was a peanut butter smuggler for the 3 days I was there. I got a lot of peanut butter.
How much you made?
I didn't actually get any money back for it. I just used it to go talk to family on the phone some more.
Here's a peanut butter packet so I can talk to my family. That sounds like a cursed meme.
It does, doesn't it? I hope this is the most viewed episode we do, because this is really important to me, and, even if it's not, whatever. Maybe somebody will pick up the story and be like, wow, that kid got just destroyed. Yeah. But I didn't leave my rack when I was in RSP. I stayed next to all my stuff. One time, this one dude was like, he told me, hey, somebody was going through your stuff earlier. And my drawer was locked. So I was like, how would somebody go through my stuff? So I'm going over there and I'm looking through all my stuff. And I'm like, nobody even opened this. And then I look back and I see down the alleyway this dude just staring at me. And he just told me that, that's disconcerting. That's a bit I didn't sleep that night. I had put my plan is if somebody came at me, I put my my one remaining lock that I had, because I already had one on my box, and I had 2 more. So I put the 2 other locks in this big boot sock.
All right.
And I tied the end. I'm going to beat the shit out of somebody with this. They try to kill me. I won't be able to be useful in a fight. I'm going to have a heart attack when I stand up to go to beat him. And, yeah. Then, the next Monday, I get my clothes back, my civilian clothes, because there's a whole process to get out of here. So I get my civilian clothes, I get dressed, and then do our final goodbye. It was not a goodbye to RSP. I hated RSP.
Yeah, I'm not going to say farewell, everyone.
Yeah, I got out of there, and it was like, okay. We got picked up on this bus, right?
Yeah.
And the bus driver was playing some CCR channel or something. And so I like CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. So I was jamming. I wasn't I was very depressed, if you could imagine. So I wasn't jamming.
He just starts like
I looked like a really bad person when I got back from boot camp. You remember how evil I looked?
had a mug shot.
I did, because I had to get a card when I got back, and it was my picture on it was like domestic terrorist.
Yeah, thankfully you got rid of the bald look
I
because you were
did.
really considering keeping it.
Was it bad?
Yes, it
Yes.
was.
I know it was bad. It doesn't suit me at all. Some time passes. We arrive at an airport, and there's 4 of us in this bus. There's me. There's like 6 of us. There's me. This one dude. He's off in the head. One of the dudes who's from Canada, but joined up for the United States Marine Corps, which is kind of weird. But
Snuck into.
I don't know how he did that. But no, he lives in I think Alberta or something.
He should have just became a Mountie.
I don't know. I mean, he wanted to be a Marine. Cool. That was really good advertisement on the Marine Corps part. Canadian.
Just get some random Canadian to join the U.S.
I
Marine
guess.
Corps.
And on the last flight, we're going to Dallas, right? So it's just me and this girl from boot camp, and I'm not in the mood for flirtation, but apparently my outfit looked pretty good, and she started saying some things to me, and I was like, maybe, but we never saw one another again.
Be gone, wench.
Yeah, I was not in the mood for any sort of. I didn't even want to talk to anybody. I was so disheartened by the whole thing. She had her phone on her because he had it mailed to her in RSP. I didn't have anything. I was just sitting there. I was like American Psycho. I just stared.
So what, like you walking to like the airport or like out of the airport is like the scene where the guy's just walking?
Sure. So it was two airports. The first one I flew with her, and there's the second one back to like Louisiana. I don't give any specifics, but it was back to Louisiana, right?
Was it just you by yourself?
Yeah, it was me. And on the first flight, no, it was the second one. My eardrums burst, just to add another thing. Both my eardrums bursted.
Oh.
And that's why I couldn't hear anything when I first got back. It felt like water was in both my ears. But I was just talking to this random dude about, like, welding.
That's very random.
Yeah, I just told my whole boot camp experience.
They're gonna say you told him your iron shop welding experience.
I just trauma dumped this poor dude for, like, the entire
Was he
flight.
like just a normal civilian?
Yeah, he was just a normal dude. He was like, man, I'm so sorry you went through that. I was like, okay.
There's just some guy out there that just knows that story.
Yeah, I hope he... I hope he forgot, honestly. It was kind of embarrassing.
He sees this podcast.
He's actually a FINA. This is middle-aged man, bald, bit overweight. That's pretty fun. Nah. And I got home, and it was really, really weird. I kind of want to end the story there, honestly. There's no happy ending here.
Yeah. Guess a little cliffhanger.
Yeah. I mean, I went to go talk to Sergeant T again, and I told him everything about how all this. And he was like, "Oh, so you're ready to go back?"
Really?
Yeah.
Is that his response?
And in that moment, I was like, "Nah, I'm done." I'm like, and I went to go get some help from like some civilian doctors, and they immediately figured out what the issue was. That's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, but man, I don't know.
No, you mean people who like go their whole lives trying to learn medical stuff?
Yeah, and they just don't care because you're not a person, you're a recruit, I guess. And I get that's the whole point, man. But like, and I know there's a lot of fakers that just want to get out of boot camp, but I really wanted to do that, and I wanted to be there, and I wouldn't even bother to say I was on the point of being refused medical service, because like every chance there was no medical service. It was just you go there, they tell you, oh, you have a problem, give you Tylenol. That's not medical service. And then I would also say it was almost borderline abuse because they're making me carry all this rucksack when they know I have a heart issue. And I do actually have proof that, and I could probably sue, because on my official documents they say this recruit is not supposed to. It was like some nonsense like climb any decks or like go up any stairs or anything like that.
Oh.
But we were sleeping on third deck, the third floor, and they made you run up that stuff with your stuff. So like for that, I have it written down, and I could probably get something from that. But I don't want to, I still like the Marine Corps. I don't want to mess over my my drill instructors. Cause as much as, I don't want to say hate, because it's not really hate, I guess. It's more of, just training. But as much as they acted like they hated everybody, I still don't want to ruin their careers.
Yeah.
Except for the one that made me carry all my stuff and was like yelling at me while I was dying on the floor. That dude can burn. You have anything to add for 10 minutes? In on a positive note? It's a good episode.
Let me see. A few days after you got back, I saw you. Or Dad came back home from school.
How did I look? Did I look happy?
No.
You don't say.
We did sit down and you told me like the whole story.
Yeah.
Except you actually probably said more in the podcast than you actually told me in person.
I know. This has been kind of therapeutic.
So yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to transition from that.
That's kind of rough, isn't it? We actually stayed on a topic for an hour and 20 minutes. That's crazy.
You happy for people who like consistency?
Yeah, I guess.
With that one topic?
If you have any questions, ask away,
Yeah, and the thing we try to advertise every episode.
Yes. Liking and subscribing. I mean, it is kind of a trauma dump, but I mean, I don't have PTSD from Parris Island. It's not that serious, bro. But I don't want to sound like a coward by saying the whole thing was... I don't want to sound weak by saying, like, my issues with it, but I feel like I should say something about it, because what happened was wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then when I got back, I'm not going to say their name, but somebody in our family member had the audacity to say, like, oh, another one quit?
Yep.
And I was a bit upset. For about maybe 2 months when I got back, I just was really depressed.
Yeah.
It was rough. Because, when you have a dream for 4 years, and he gets shot down... Yes, Martin Luther King. And he gets shot down by some stupid Navy corpsman who doesn't know how to put a marker on some dude's skin. Yeah, that's a bit upsetting.
I do, and then that's where the whole you try to make a YouTube channel, Minecraft stuff started.
Yeah, and I had no time because work.
Well, you weren't really working at that time.
Yeah,
So
but then work started, and then yeah. But now with my new job, it's a lot less physical, and I have more time to do things. Still not a lot of time, but with the semester of school, most of I might make some sort of channel content. I don't know.
So it's just doing like dumb little, how do I put this? I don't know. What would you make?
I don't know. I don't even know, man. Maybe Unturned.
Play Unturned? What? Unturned trolling?
And you have a week to give me background footage for this.
No, that's easy. I'm already recording gameplay for another
Okay.
video.
Okay. We'll see.
I can just record the New Vegas video an hour straight.
There you go. Do that. It's going to be an hour and 30 minutes for this one. Alright, folks. I'm going to let Land do the outro this go around.
I usually do, so...
Do it good.
Okay, fine. If you enjoyed this, and, didn't click off already, please like and subscribe, like always, on our YouTube channel. Comment whatever you like. I'm not even going to tell you to comment something specifically. Just comment something. You know what? No, I'm going to tell you guys to comment something specifically. Comment, Marine. And on Spotify, go and follow it. And, download on Spotify. And also, email us something, too, if you want to give us questions. There we go.
Alright, folks. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Goodbye.